As Donald Trump single-handedly devastates the American economy, Fox News is struggling on air in terms of how to cover it. Some of the hosts are publicly panicking, others are doing their best to grade him on a curve or totally ignore the consequences of Trump's actions. We're going to talk about that. And I want to start with a Fox News host who was actually visibly disgusted by the callousness of her co-host so badly that she felt the need to call him out on air. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, this one's really interesting that we're going to start with. Again, Fox is struggling with how to cover the objectively bad situation created directly and totally, singularly, by Donald Trump. This one was really interesting. So Fox News host Sandra Smith and Fox News host John Roberts had a bit of a disagreement when Roberts really downplayed, poo-pooed the real-world, real ramifications of Trump's actions. Watch her face and listen to her tone of voice as he says what he says.
The market goes up, the market goes down. It always has. It likely always will. Peter, thank you so much. We are going to chew this over a lot, though, in the next couple of hours, Sandra.
My response to that is that there are people who need to get out at a certain given moment. And if the market is down in that moment, it could be very harmful to somebody's 401k. So the timing of the market is everything, when it is up and when it is down.
You know, my financial planner has said, don't suddenly get out. I mean, even if you're about to retire, don't get out. Leave a certain part of your portfolio in the stock market because it'll go back up again at some point. I mean, when you take a look at the ups and downs, it's had some pretty big swoons, but in the end, it's higher than it was before. So.
He's so full of shit. The dishonesty from John Roberts. Like, yeah, don't worry about it. The stock market comes back. You could have said the same damn thing about the Great Depression. The stock market came back stronger than ever after the Great Depression, but it devastated the global economy, devastated the American economy. Countless Americans died, many of them in poverty, some by suicide, as a direct consequences of the economic fallout of the Great Depression. Recessions, economic turmoil kills people. And this man is so indifferent about it. Again, do you see the look on her face, on Sandra Smith's face, where just that annoyance and then the need to call it out? Like, no, this actually does matter. And this idea, no big deal, it'll come back up. Maybe it'll be too late for people for it to come back up. And would John Roberts be saying the same thing if this had happened under President Biden? You're damn right he would not. You're absolutely right he would not. He'd never said anything like this when the stock market struggled at various points under President Obama, President Biden. He would never have said anything like that. Don't worry about it. It's only because of Trump, and Fox is desperate to placate Trump and Trump's supporters. It's no big deal. It is a big deal. It's such a big deal that not only, again, did Sandra Smith have to, again, in her own roundabout professional way, call him out on his callousness, but even other Fox News and Fox Business hosts are putting it in concrete terms what this has done to the American people. This economic fallout is a direct consequence of the Trump global tariffs.
U.S. markets bearing the brunt of the global market sell-off. Look at this, folks. Investors and traders are enduring a $2.5 trillion vaporized just this session alone. Workers, retirees, pensioners, no doubt, unhappy as they peek at their 401ks, retirement funds, their kids' 529 college savings funds. But the collateral damage to individual sectors and stocks here in the U.S. way more profound and widespread. Let's start with U.S. tech. It is getting slashed right now. We've got on the screen Amazon, Nvidia, Meta. Nvidia now at $103 and change. We've got Amazon at $107.
And again, talking about in direct, concrete terms who this is hurting. Retirees, yes. Parents whose kids' college funds are devastated by this. This isn't abstract. It's not theory. But again, Fox is struggling to cover this. They don't know what to do. I just saw one pop up just a second ago. I guess we might as well play that. It's stunning stuff. It's from a guy we've recently been talking about quite a bit, Will Kane. Here's how Will Kane You know, we're going to do that in a separate video. That merits its own separate video, what he just said. So getting back to it in real time, CNN host Sarah Sidner pointed this out too, that Fox is having a bit of an identity crisis, a tale of two networks. A stock tumble from Trump's tariffs, and countries respond. This is how the networks respond. So for CNN, it's world leaders react to tariffs, to Trump's sweeping new tariffs. On Fox News, it's about a new book about the 2024 election, which humiliates the Democratic Party. That's where Fox is desperate to try to keep its focus. We're also seeing other disputes between and among Fox News hosts, even MAGA Fox News hosts, like Dagan McDowell and Charles Payne at the end of one session here. Take a look.
And so there is no way around. The best position is Tesla, and you can look at the stock.
Right.
Tesla, and then second would be Honda. About a little more than 60% of vehicles components are domestically sourced. Tesla stock is still down today, more than 4%. And even like BMW has a giant plant in South Carolina, produces SUVs that they also export globally. Well, BMW is going to rethink South Carolina because it's not going to import tariffed parts, engines from Germany, then to send those vehicles to export them. So again, it will mean, if that plant stays open, it will mean fewer jobs potentially, because they're going to make those vehicles somewhere else.
Well, where are they going to sell them now?
They sell
Who's
them to
the customer?
China. They sell them to China, and they sell them to Europe.
So every American customer who could buy a BMW could be replaced overnight by a Chinese customer.
They sell them they export them to China.
No, but I'm saying you can't make
They import the parts, which will be tariffed, and then they will export them from the United States, where they're manufactured, back to Europe, where they will be tariffed again, and then to China and nations around the globe. Right? So these are the problems that a U.S. manufacturer faces, because the parts are coming from somewhere else.
They can also just make the parts here. They can make the car
No, they
here.
can't. Absolutely not. That's a fallacy.
It's impossible?
Yeah, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years.
I
Have
doubt
at it.
It wouldn't take that long. Anyway, as far as the payments are
to build
concerned,
German engines in the United States. Okay.
Charles Payne is such a MAGA cultist, such obvious bullshittery here that even Dagan McDowell, and again, if you've ever watched Dagan McDowell, she's on the Trump train too, and she's like, Charles, shut up, man. You just this idea that you can flip this shit on overnight and the American people won't suffer as a consequence. Total pure cope, dishonest cope from Charles Payne. You also have Kayleigh McEnany, former Trump press secretary turned Fox News host. This is how she's trying to spin it.
Oh, Kayleigh, you had some things to say about this.
Yes. So you heard the White House there saying, this is not part of a negotiation. This is here to stay. I firmly believe that is posturing. This is the great deal maker, the great negotiator, and he's someone who understands how to get to a good end result.
There you have it, right? Oh, it's just posturing. It's just posturing. It's a negotiating tactic from the guy who brought you the art of the deal. This is where we are. This is, again, part of the issue with Fox's identity crisis. You have the Fox business hosts in particular, the analysts, saying this is objectively a big friggin' problem. And then you have the more MAGA-aligned Fox News hosts, with some exceptions, again, like Dagan McDowell, saying, this is a negotiating posture. It's okay. Everybody just relax. Shit that they'd never say if the shoe were on the other foot. And again, going back to Sandra Smith having to fact check and appeal to the sensibilities and the empathy of a callous co-host who is also trying to downplay the very real pain of what's going on here. It's stunning stuff. And again, this is only the first day after Trump has declared these tariffs. Who knows how Fox will be covering this in 2 days. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.